Three, two, one. Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from the Daily Wire dated July 2nd, and it is entitled The Dark Relationship Between U.S. Universities and an Anti-American School Controlled by Terrorists. So it's everything you need to know about Birzeit University, the Palestinian school openly aligned with Hamas that's partnering with some of America's top universities. Seems a little dangerous, right? But let's go right into it. So skipping down, it says Birzeit University, located just outside of Ramallah in the West Bank, is home to an overwhelmingly Hamas-affiliated student government that holds on-campus terrorist parades. Sounds like a fun place. It also has relationships with some of America's most prestigious universities, despite the fact that its leadership and faculty openly harbor pro-terrorist and anti-American sentiments. Not settlements. What am I doing? Says the chairwoman of Birzeit's Board of Trustees denied Hamas's brutality and that word that rhymes with grape on October 7th, and the school's official account called for glory to the martyrs days after the attack. Yet its relationships in the United States remain largely intact. It has active relationships with Harvard University, Rutgers University, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and others across the country. Seems like very much like a East Coast sort of thing there, but okay. It's across the country. Obviously, that'd be everywhere else. But I was saying like Harvard's in Boston, Rutgers that's in Philadelphia, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, which I think is somewhere in the Boston-ish area. I've been there, but I don't remember exactly where it is. Anyway, this is a long article, so I should probably keep my extra comments to a minimum. It says Harvard University is set to host a Palestine social medicine course. What the hell is that? Next month at Birzeit, where students will learn about settler colonialism. Oh, so it's a far left sort of BS thing that doesn't actually exist. All right. Rutgers University affirmed its relationship with Birzeit in May amid student encampment protests, and William Patterson University entered into an agreement with the Hamas-run university in 2022 for exchange programs, sharing curricula, and joint degree programs. Other schools, such as MIT, have recently co-hosted conferences, invited Birzeit professors for speaking events, or had student groups visit its campus. Experts say the university has gone off the deep end since Hamas's October 7, 2023 terrorist attack, with leadership openly defending the actions and broadcasting lies about the conflict. Well, that's what Hamas does. They just lie. It's just it's kind of built into the system there. This is Birzeit's terrorist sympathizing leadership. Hanan Ashrawi, the chairwoman of Birzeit University's Board of Trustees, has denied Hamas committed sexual assault on Israeli civilians during its October 7th massacre, endorsed the lynching of Israeli soldiers, and defended Hezbollah, according to Camera UK. Yeah, I love how they deny things that happened that their own people recorded with their own recording equipment. And they're like, yeah, that didn't happen. And yeah, morons. Again, don't believe the evidence of your eyes and ears. Believe what we're telling you. On October 11th, Ashrawi wrote that Israeli's spin machine was manufacturing horrific lies in an orchestrated smear campaign claiming that word again, slaughtering babies, beheadings, burnings alive, and that the Western media immediately swallowed and regurgitated such vile slander. It's not slander when we're looking at it, you absolute effing moron. Ashrawi doubled down on sexual assault denial in March, calling a UN report finding grounds that Hamas committed that type of violence. Again, YouTube words can't say certain things. That Hamas committed that type of violence invalid because it included mostly interviews with Israelis. You know, the people that it happened to, I mean, what she's actually saying by that is, what is it? Don't believe the woman. This is what she's saying, okay? For all you folks out there that are all believe all women, what she's saying is don't believe them right here, okay? I mean, how would you like that if somebody was like, yeah, the people who were all the victims, you shouldn't believe them. Yeah, okay. So this is a bad person. All right. It says Jonathan Schanzer, Senior Vice President for Research at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, said he is not surprised that Birzeit's radical views are expressed at the highest levels. It says Ashrawi has had a forked tongue for decades, and that's being very kind, saying she has a forked tongue. Schanzer told the Daily Wire, pointing out that she was once a part of the Oslo Accords. While she was once seen as a woman of peace, that ship sailed a long time ago, and she has since been a mouthpiece for radicalism for the better part of a decade. In a January 2nd, 2024 post on X, Ashrawi voiced her frustration with the IDF, killing Saleh al-Arawi, getting that one wrong, and I don't care because it's a Hamas person. And I know I don't like getting names wrong, but if you're a terrorist and you're Hamas scum, yeah, I don't care. So he's the founding commander of Hamas's military wing, the Al-Qassam Brigades, who she labeled a Palestinian leader. Yeah, gotta love those leaders, those terrorist leaders. The long-distance assassination by drone of Hamas leader, terrorist, Saleh al-whatever, is a typical Israeli pattern of murdering Palestinian leaders of all factions. I would guarantee that he started it, but anyway, it says not only does it not bring security or capitulation, it provokes and produces a serious escalation with long-term ramifications, Ashrawi wrote. Ashrawi also said on the honorary editorial board of the Palestinian Chronicle, the U.S.-based nonprofit that employed Abdallah al-Jamal, who was killed by Israeli forces in Gaza in June as 3 hostages held prisoner in his home were rescued. Yeah, maybe if you want to avoid being killed by the Israeli Defense Forces, maybe don't have hostages in your home. But, that's just me. Sorry, it's my Western way of thinking there. She was previously a member of the Palestinian Legislative Council. She was also a founding member of MIFTA, an organization with a history of anti-Semitism. And just by the way, for the editors here, you got, fat fingered the right button, the right click there. Got 2 S's there. It says, including publishing an article claiming Jews use Christian blood to make matzah for Passover before apologizing, according to the Times of Israel. Yeah, and that's a blood libel. That is not a thing that has ever happened. But, it's been going down for centuries. But yeah, it's not a thing. So Ashrawi was denied a visa to the United States in 2019. Good. According to her Twitter, though it is unclear if she was given one in the following years for trips. This person should not be allowed in our country under any circumstances that anyone could possibly imagine. Okay, so I think it is quite revealing that she has been supportive of Hamas and other extremist groups after being part of the peace process for so many years, Shanzer said. I think she has gone well past the tipping point, and there is no return for her. I suspect she knows that. Good, there should not be. So celebrating anti-Semitic protests on American campuses. Brexit itself has a troubling social media history since October 7th, including calling for glory for the martyrs just 3 days later, praising terrorists, and declaring support for U.S. student encampments that caused turmoil on campuses, led to the harassment of Jews, and resulted in the cancellation of some commencement ceremonies. In a post on X, Brexit mourned with great pride the martyr, Aysar Safi, a student killed in a combat mission against the IDF, according to the U.S.-designated terrorist organization Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, or PFLP, which claimed him as a member. In another post, Brexit shared an image from Safi's on-campus funeral with attendees holding flags of the student wing of the PFLP and Hamas's Al-Qassam Brigade. So a bunch of bad people. As Brexit has gone off the deep end since October 7th, like other universities, Shanzer said. Like just about every faction within the Palestinian arena, Brexit has expressed appreciation for the intimidating anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist encampments. In multiple posts, Brexit called the encampment activists a live example of the importance of academic liberty and justice, and has said their voices are heard and appreciated from Brexit University. Not everybody's perfect. It says, from Brexit University, we appreciate the stands where the students showed up to support Palestine at MIT, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, NYU, Penn U, and more, Brexit's website states. We reiterate our unwavering support for the Students for Justice in Palestine, which should be listed as a terrorist group. In a joint letter with other Palestinian universities, Brexit said the protesters in the encampments are emancipating the university from structural racism and complicity with power and colonialism. Bunch of left-wing BS again. Remember, they can't actually point out where the structural racism is. I've never heard a single person be able to point that out. And complicity with power and colonialism, yeah, just leftist language. Brexit, which describes itself as a thorn in the side of the occupation, there is no occupation, but anyway, and says it is making an impact through resistance, has openly honored terrorists. The school has had Kamal Nasser Hall, named after the leader of Black September, the terror organization responsible for kidnapping and killing 11 Israeli athletes at the 1972 Munich Olympics. Brexit was under controversy in 2014. Its policy of banning Israeli Jews from campus was exposed when it removed a left-wing reporter from Haaretz from a conference. Man, I couldn't talk there. That sentence is weird. It was under controversy in 2014. Should be period. Its policy of banning Jews from campus was exposed. Yeah. And then from Haaretz. So check that out, editors. Got a few errors in here. It says Brexit's anti-American professors. Brexit shared a letter from its faculty and employee union which praised the global intifada, called for an Israeli boycott, and refrained from calling the United States by name, instead opting to use Turtle Island, okay, a term used by so-called anti-colonialists to suggest that the United States exists on stolen land. It does not. It was conquered. Difference there. says from their inception in the early part of the 20th century, Zionist academic institutions have been the catalyst for the military plans to ethnically cleanse the entirety of Palestine, the letter reads, which is 100% false. Says the global intifada will no doubt continue to grow, and campuses across the world, including the Arab world, will gather and scream in the face of fascism. So here, where they're saying fascism, it just means bad people. It doesn't actually mean what it is, without realizing that their side is infinitely closer to what the actual definition of fascism is. In fact, it really is a fascist state. If you know anything about fascism at all, it basically is. So that letter, I don't know if it's that woman, but doesn't seem to know what the definition of that word is, as most people on the left don't. This Berzet's faculty includes notable terrorist sympathizers, including Assistant Professor Basil Faraj, who wrote a eulogy for Walid Daqqa, the leader of a group that kidnapped and killed an IDF soldier. Philosophy Professor Abdal Jawad Omar appeared at the PFLP-linked conference attended by Representative Rashida Tlaib, where he praised the October 7th attacks for opening so many doors of political possibility, and said the promise of liberation it holds would not have manifested in our conference without the capacity to resist. Omar also denied accusations of rape and criticized the IDF for refusing to allow Israel to be taken over by the Palestinian military in an op-ed shortly after the attack. They don't have a military. They have a bunch of terrorist groups. Okay, and Ilhan Omar is also a terrorist supporter. As Israel chose not to engage in negotiations with any groups within its borders, leading to substantial collateral damage and numerous hostage situations, Omar wrote. The Palestinian military strategy aimed to delay Israel's retaking of the area around the Strip. In contrast, Israel was intent on swiftly reclaiming the territory, seemingly without regard for the safety of its own citizens. And Ilhan Omar also does not know what she's talking about here. She is completely blinded. Hamas-affiliated students celebrate or commit terrorism. A majority of Berzit students are radicalized, as evident from its student election last year, where a Hamas-affiliated student bloc won 25 of the 51 seats in a race with 77% voter turnout, according to the Jerusalem Post. The PFLP-affiliated group won 6 seats. At the Islamic Bloc victory celebration, Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh called in and claimed that the win shows Hamas is unbreakable in the West Bank, Middle East Monitor reported. At a December 2022 annual on-campus parade, students with military uniforms, mock suicide belts, and rockets celebrated the 55-year anniversary of the PFLP while chanting, "Oh, PFLP member, mobilize, blow up the settler's head," reported Memory. So nice people. At the 2021 rally, photos of participants making Nazi salutes were shared by PFLP's military wing on Telegram. A day later, the Islamic Bloc held their own rally where a speaker said salutations to the body parts that were scattered on the streets of Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, a video by Memory shows. So again, very, very nice people that we have here. Definitely committed to peace. It says the Islamic Bloc is so proud of Berzet's list of terrorist alumni that it featured many of them in a 2022 article on its website for their jihad work. And why is article on its website in much smaller print? Again, a lot of errors in this article that I'm seeing. It says notable mentions include, and there's also no space right here between the end of the quote and notable, but whatever. It says notable mentions include Ayman Halawa, which the group credits for killing 23 Israelis at a Tel Aviv nightclub, and Yahya Ayash, nicknamed the Engineer, for revamping the production of suicide bombs and helping kill nearly 100 Israeli civilians. So all very, very nice people. And yeah, you have a kid right here holding a rifle. Nice people. So these people are going to be radicalized from the moment they're born. The group honored Ayash in a reception for the new students titled Ayash's Army. On November 24th, 2022, hosted the day after the terrorists detonated bombs at a bus stop, killing 2 Israelis. It says current students have also been arrested for terrorism, including student government president Abdul Majid Hassan and 7 other students who were arrested by the IDF and accused of planning a terror attack, to which some of the suspects confessed, according to the Times of Israel. The director of a Harvard University public health program heading to Berzeit this summer with students condemned the raid, claiming it violated the right of Palestinians to education, freedom of speech, and freedom of association, the Daily Wire previously reported. Well, they also don't have those rights there, so we're trying to take American rights and put them on people that are not Americans in an area that's not American. So, I mean, that doesn't work. Okay? And also, these are the bad guys. They're being deprived of their rights by people, they committed, what did it say up here? It says, they were arrested by the IDF, because they confessed to trying to commit a terrorist raid, and these folks are it violated their rights. They're terrorists, you dumbass. Let's keep going. It says a Harvard representative downplayed the Burzett elections and their impact on the summer program at the time, claiming they are not germane to and have not affected the FXB Center's work with the scholars and students at Burzett's Institute of Community and Public Health. According to Schanzer, campus elections are a barometer of the political sentiments held by Palestinians in the West Bank, considering elections have not been held in many years, and its president, Mahmoud Abbas, is entering the 19th year of his 4-year term. Yeah. Yeah, go figure that. So people out there are like, these people are all, they just want elections and all. Yeah, just remember that. This U.S. university should be concerned about partnering with Burzett while Hamas is in control of its student body and there are open displays of radicalism on campus, Schanzer said. This should be a sign that perhaps it's not the best time to be sending students to Burzett. No, it's not. It never will be. In April, a mob of Burzett students attacked the German ambassador to Israel on campus with stones. I remember hearing about that, forcing him to flee, I-24 News reported. In June, students called on Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah to burn Kiryat Shmona, an Israeli town near the Lebanon border that has been evacuated and faces near-daily rocket attacks. As Burzett students were caught helping launder money for terrorist attacks from Gaza to Hamas members in Turkey in 2022, the Jerusalem Post reported. More than 140 students and 4 staff members were in prison in April, Hiccups posted to X. And in 2022, the school sports education club hosted an athletic competition named after one of its many prominent terrorist alumni, Marwan Barghouti, was considered a leader of the First and Second Intifada and was convicted of killing 5 people. While Schanzer said all U.S. universities should reconsider partnering with Burzett, he stressed that Harvard should pay extra caution due to the Congressional Education and the Workforce Committee revealing its former Anti-Semitism Advisory Council noting pro-terrorist influence on campus. We know from the internal deliberations that they are worried about the influence of Hamas at Harvard, he said, but the Harvard administration has already shown it's more eager to appease the woke masses than they are concerned about anti-Semitism, Hamas influence, or the potential danger of exposing students or to radicals abroad. As Rutgers University caved to anti-Israel student protesters in May, saying it would revisit and follow up on its relationship with Burzett University, which was created in 2022. Representative Lloyd Smucker, Republican of Pennsylvania, asked Rutgers University President Jonathan Holloway if Burzett is really an institution Rutgers should be partnering with before a congressional hearing in May. The information you just shared with me is new to me, sir, and I will commit to reading it, Holloway said after Smucker informed him of Burzett's terrorist sympathies. In 2001, UC Davis joined a consortium of Arab region universities that includes Burzett and consists of collaborative research and training projects. Well, UC Davis is in California, so she said all over the country at the beginning, and here we go. Other schools draw upon Burzett's professors to educate their own students, represented by a 2021 conference co-organized with the UC Santa Barbara, another California university, of course, and Burzett University. MIT co-hosted an April 2023 conference on Burzett on education innovation in Palestine academia. Georgetown enlisted Burzett Associate Professor of History Rana Barakat for a Gaza in Context teach-in series in June. Student groups have taken trips to Burzett, including 43 UC Berkeley students in 2019 who met with BDS movement co-founder Omar Barghouti, and that's a very anti-Semitic movement. Go look it up if you don't know what it is. In a Burzett blog post, the university says it met with students from the University of Michigan, University of Virginia, New York University, and Harvard University in March 2023, so we're definitely all over the country. As Burzett creates ties with new schools, it also appears to boast outdated relationship with U.S. schools from nearly 30 years ago. Its website features a map of 8 international partners, including Illinois State University. Oh, wonderful. That's where, a lot of my friends went to Illinois State. There's Kent State University, California State University, San Bernardino, Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, Harvard, University of California, William Paterson University. Is it Paterson or Patterson? I always see when there's one T, I say Paterson. But anyway, William will go with Patterson University and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So the spokesman for Cal State Bernardino, or San Bernardino, told the Daily Wire that they have not had a relationship with Burzett since 1995. Kent State told the Daily Wire it has not had a relationship with Burzett for several years. Illinois State said their relationship ended in 2015, good, and Southern Illinois University Edwardsville said their relationship is not active. The University of California Office of the President said they have no relationship with Burzett, but did not comment on if its universities do. Schanzer believes that apart from the radicalism on Burzett's campus, visiting the West Bank is not safe for American students. I can't imagine. I was thinking about that the whole time I'm reading this article. I'm like, I would not want anybody I know to go there. Or any American, really. As Israelis have arrested more than 4,000 terrorists in the West Bank since October 7th and have disrupted many plots and confiscated thousands of weapons smuggled through Jordan, he said. All of this is part of a plan enacted by Hamas and its key patrons in Tehran to ignite a third front in this war. We're 5 minutes away from a massive confrontation in the West Bank, and we have Harvard sending students, he added. This is the wrong time. Harvard University, MIT, William Patterson University, Georgetown University, UC Santa Barbara, Rutgers University, and Brissett University did not respond to a request for comment. Of course, because they're probably working with them, and they know about all this, and don't give a crap. So this is a very disturbing article. It went on for a while. Sorry about that. We're probably nearing around 20 minutes at this point. So let me know what you think about this. Did you know about this? Have you ever heard of this Brissett University before? And just let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.